Chapter 8: Generous Rewards and School Show. Sebastian pushed the door open and entered. He could see it at a glance. The one sitting behind the desk was a man around 50 years of age with a rather dignified appearance. It was the headmaster of Atlanta Middle School, Ossie Merlin, a level 4 planet master. At this moment, Merlin's voice was no longer as dignified as before. He put on a friendly smile, stood up, and said amiably, "Student Sebastian is here. Come, sit on the sofa over there." Principal Merlin. Sebastian had lived 2 lives, so he was not restrained and sat down next to the sofa. Seeing Sebastian's calm expression, Merlin nodded inwardly. He wasn't arrogant, no wonder he could suddenly become an underdog. "Sebastian." Merlin looked at Sebastian and said, "First of all, congratulations on taking the first place in our school's awakening. It is also a new record for our city. Thank you for this." Sebastian did not mind. Merlin was not a formalistic leader. After a short exchange of greetings, he went straight to the point. "According to the rules of our school, since your awakening result is first," Merlin smiled and said, "we will give you 500,000 federal dollars. 500,000. Sebastian's eyes narrowed. What was his identity? He had been an orphan since he was young and had grown up with the help of the Federation. 500,000 for Sebastian was a huge sum of money. And his planet was different from other people who had successfully awakened. He had created a natural and ecological planet. Theoretically, he did not need too many resources. As long as he had enough origin energy, which was very expensive, he would be good. An official price of 1 million federal dollars was needed to buy origin energy. With Sebastian's wealth, he couldn't afford it. Plus your results this time, you've broken the city's historical record, so, Merlin continued, the school has decided to give an additional 500,000, a million in total. It was just enough for a portion of origin energy. Thinking of this, Sebastian looked at Merlin and said, "These rewards, I want to exchange it for origin energy." Although the price of origin energy was 1 million, that was the official price. If he was to buy it himself, since he had no connections or channels, that was not the fixed price. Since there was a chance, Sebastian was not polite. Merlin did not care about these details. Instead, he looked at Sebastian in confusion and asked, "Do you want to turn it to origin energy? You don't consider using this money to buy other planet resources first?" As usual, since his planet had just awakened, he had to cultivate more life first. All kinds of resources were needed to cultivate life. For example, buying extraordinary life plants and animals. Those were needed on the planet as the food for intelligent life. These required a large amount of money. "Let's trade it to origin energy first. As the energy on my planet is a bit special," Sebastian smiled and said, "Sure, I just happen to have a portion of origin energy, so I'll give it to you as a reward." Merlin stood up. From the drawer of the desk, he took out a packaging box. Inside the box, it was a transparent crystal ball. It was origin energy. Merlin understood Sebastian's thoughts. However, he did not care. Instead, there was even more appreciation. To become a powerful planet master, it was better to be bold. Sebastian took it, but he didn't immediately open it. Of course, he still had this bit of trust. "That's right, Sebastian, can you tell me, what is the energy of your awakening?" Merlin looked at Sebastian and asked the question he was concerned about. The size of an awakened planet was just an appearance. What was most important was the level of the initial energy. Only at high levels would it be possible to create a high-level civilization. Planets with a diameter of more than 30 kilometers were usually advanced civilizations. Even a super-civilization was possible. Sebastian's planet was 35.2 kilometers in diameter, so there is a probability it was much higher. "The energy I awakened is somewhat special," Sebastian vaguely reminded. "Could it be super energy, or was it the rarer one, void energy?" Merlin immediately guessed, and there was a hint of anticipation in his eyes. For super energy, spiritual energy was the most common and the rest was similar to the void energy. It was relatively rare. Throughout the history of the 7th Middle School, a student who awakened super energy had never appeared before. Now there was Sebastian. Naturally, Merlin was looking forward to it.